Welcome to the Good, Bad, or Bullshit podcast. This is a show where we talk about random topics. We have a real conversation about that topics, and then we provide you with righteous reviews. It's a review show about everything. The sky's the limit. And I am Mike Hodgins, one of your three hosts on this show, along with, of course, the not ever annoyed, but certainly annoyed today, Bo Schwartz.
Yes, I'm super annoyed. Get on with it. I'm here. Hello.
Yeah, he's annoyed. And the annoying, the source of the annoyance, Crofton Steers.
and hey, without a doubt, the actual source. Like, we're not even being facetious. The literal source.
Hey, it's me, everybody's favorite podcast host, Crofton Steers. How's it going, guys?
Oh, I'm feeling a little bit like Bo now.
So, just for you listeners that are wondering, like, why is Crofton in such a great mood and they're in such a poor mood? Well, we just spent 40 minutes sound testing, and it's taken its toll. I must admit, it's taken its toll.
I would also say, and it was not resolved. We just went ahead anyways. That's the best part.
In the end, we just did it.
I was this close from hanging up on you guys. Like, I was so close. We were like, next effort.
Yes. Well,
right.
you know what?
We're doing a show.
We learned a lot today.
Did we?
It feels like this is the end of the episode, but really we're just beginning.
Yeah. So, what's new? How are you guys doing? What's kids getting older?
See,
Just
here's the thing. I have a hard time with this now, and I'm totally not picking on you, Bo, although it's really going to sound like it.
Okay.
But, like, because whenever we do these bits, I will say something about what's going on right now in the world, because there's been a lot that's happened this past week. But the problem is when the show is posted, that's generally like a month or so later. So it makes everything kind of dated. So I don't want to talk about the things that I want to talk about really, because people will be like, God, that's old news when they listen to it. So let me think about my kids.
Well, you can talk about yourself because people, like movies you watch are filmed like years in advance from when you watch it, but that doesn't affect your enjoyment. But yes, if you're going to talk about something prescient like, the daily news of today, whatever that might be, then, it might not be very timely. So
okay. So
more,
let me try this again.
Keep it personal.
Okay, let me try this again. Okay, so things are going really quite well. Winter sucks. There's ice everywhere now. Everything is frozen. But I'm gonna go on vacation hopefully soon. There. How was that?
It's funny because I have almost the reverse thing of Crofton, where I'm not gonna go on vacation soon, but this is a great winter. I've been really enjoying this winter, and I have no desire for it to end any sooner. I think it's great.
It's like the streets are ice.
It's winter. What do you want them to be?
No,
they're
but
not
it's
always
shitty.
ice.
It should be snow. We've had a lot of snow, then
a lot
thaw,
of ice.
then some rainy, and then it freezes, and it's happened like 10 times over the course of the winter, and it's just created a thick.
But I dropped my daughter at the playground today, and it was not only was it ice, it was all bumpy, and kids were falling and getting hurt left and right. I was like, "What the f, man? This is like they need like jackhammers to chisel this thing out." It's not like the fluffy, beautiful snow winter. We're in like the shit of the winter right now. Like you're just being a little bit of a devil's advocate. You're like, oh yeah, winter's so beautiful right now. I mean, it's like garbage right now.
I ride my bike to work every day. It's great. I have a fun time. I feel like if the kids are getting hurt on the ice, you're gonna have a lot of fun playing on ice.
Oh my god. It would be way better riding your bike if there was no ice or snow.
Okay, my annoyance is slowly shifting away from crops.
But it's like I always have this thing where it's like it's February in Canada, and it's like so it'd be like, but the ice is annoying, and then if it wasn't the ice, it'd be like, the snow. There's too much snow. Yeah. There's snow everywhere. I'm sick of snow. It's like, it's February in Canada.
I said I'm sick of ice. Everything being frozen. It's brutal. People are
Serenity now.
I can
Not so
literally.
bad,
I
man.
took skates out. I took skates out yesterday and skated on my street in front of my house. That's ridiculous. It shouldn't even
awesome.
happen. No, because it wasn't like Zambonied ice. It was all sorts of bumpy chunk ice. I did it for the novelty, and then I'm like, okay, now it's over, and it's just shitty ice with like big ass
Whatever.
potholes. Oh,
We've got lots of snow. I've had a good cross-country ski season so far. I'm going downhill skiing with my son tomorrow. Life's grand.
isn't tomorrow work day?
I mean, I don't
I'm
want
playing
to.
hooky.
I don't want to be good.
Well, it's a vacation. I'm taking a vacation day to go ski.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe don't. If you have a job to go to, don't broadcast.
No.
that
My
you're-
boss knows about it, but I'm like,
My boss
it's-
knows
it's
he or
lovely-
she's a fucking idiot and won't listen to this show. Do that thing.
well, she won't listen to this show, but yeah. So I'm going skiing tomorrow. Anyways, I like winter and I'm enjoying this one. And you know what? The thing about it is that the days are getting longer.
worst.
The sun is brighter every day. Like spring's right around the corner, fellas. There's nothing to be worried about. There's nothing to be upset about.
I hope my passport application goes through in time so I can get the fuck out of here.
Well, I guess it depends if your references give you a good one or a bad one.
Oh! Why did I use you? Oh.
Oh man,
Rough
you're
and
so
Steers,
screwed
I
now.
don't know about that guy. I don't know if he's really from Canada. And they'd be like, what? I'm like, he doesn't really like winter. It doesn't make sense. Anyway. Anywho, should we get on to a random topic?
We could.
We could?
If we got it all out of our system.
Oh
Well, you
my
don't like
God.
winter either, Bo. That's right.
I don't. I
But you
just don't like the thaw, the ice. The ice is kind of killing me. But I like
Yeah.
winter's fine. But the thawing and then freezing, thawing, the freezing. I don't. care for
I
it.
also got to point out that winter this year started like in early November.
Yeah.
Like it started even earlier than it normally did. So your whole like, oh, it's February. It's the last day of February, by the way. So now we've officially dated this podcast. It is the last day of February. So we're like into March, but technically we had a whole extra month of winter at the front end.
And don't forget that last year, our April was like a winter month because it went long last year. So yeah, we've had a lot of winter
Yeah,
this
thanks.
past
That's like
12 months.
6 months of winter.
You live in Canada. They'll be like, why is it winter for half the year?
Four,
Like,
4 months. Give me 4 months.
look where you
December,
live. If you
January,
don't like it,
February, March. Boom. That should be it. Bring on
If you don't
global
like it,
warming.
go to
Oh, no.
California, go to Florida, live in those places. There's lots of places with no snow. Go there, Go to New Zealand, your homeland.
If you don't like it, leave it.
All right, let's get
Yeah.
on to a random topic.
It's sort of simple.
You're the host,
but
Mike.
yeah.
Keep us on track.
Okay, yeah, let's do a random topic. Let's do it. Let's hope about ice. Well, I feel like we just. Anyways, okay. The the topic today is reality TV. I feel like we were given the teaser for reality TV during our squabbling just now.
It was
we?
it was kind of like a diva fight. We're having a little bit like Crofton couldn't get it together with his super headphones that are infallible but failing us today.
What? They're not failing us. They're just so good. I had you up at 200%, all right?
And then
My
Mike with
bad.
his ice winter is amazing.
Ice trolling you guys.
Jagged ice winter is the best.
The
man.
And
ice only came like last week. Come on.
yeah.
So, okay.
So reality TV.
it feels like, do we need parameters for this?
Why? Why would we do that to ourselves?
Because, like, okay, is a documentary reality TV?
No.
No.
Is a show that is like, say Alaska Highway Truckers
Yes.
Is that
that's
reality TV?
Yes.
is
Yes.
so like
Like pickers where people find old junk.
Storage Wars or whatever.
Yeah,
American
those
Pickers.
all those
Antique
stupid pawn shop
Roadshow.
shows.
Is that
Mm,
a reality TV?
No, definitely not.
Why not?
It's very different than it doesn't have
Is-
like it's not like you go to the Antiques Roadshow and there's like the same two guys are like today, we found a new gorgeous find and they go in there and there's a bunch of
Is
contrived
Pawn
shit to
is
try to
Pawn
create drama.
Stars reality TV?
Yeah, like okay, well, I mean maybe
That's
you do
a-
need to compartmentalize it. Like, it's reality TV, but it's different than like Big Brother or Survivor reality TV, but it's still a version of reality TV.
Pawn Stars is,
I think so.
but Antique Roadshow is not.
No, because it doesn't have the like personalities of the people are not involved. When you watch Antiques Roadshow, there's just some like academic guy being like, "Well, this is a late Chesterfield from the blah." It's not like their personalities aren't coming into play. But I feel like reality TV shows is when one of the people involved, the way they are affects the show. Like, what was the one with the Orange County Choppers? Like, that's reality TV.
They're not trying. They're
it's
not
very like
trying to
the personalities involve, the conflicts between them. Yeah.
Can I speak?
Go ahead, Bo.
They're not trying to create a narrative, a dramatic narrative out of the people involved. They're not actors playing characters, but a reality television show on some level is making a story of the people and what they're doing. And so Antique Roadshow, as Mike said, is about looking at, like, it's antique porn. It's like looking at antiques, appraising them. It's focused on that, right? Like a car show would not be reality TV.
But isn't that what Pawn Stars is focused on?
No, because, well, and we'll get into the meat of reality TV, is that they often pose as such shows, but are not such shows, right? Like Big Brother, a study in interpersonal dynamics. It's not reality television. It's science for the masses.
Yeah.
It's like there's all, like, that's the problem with reality TV, is that it's full of bullshit about what it is exactly they're portraying, and that's why reality TV, like, it's a genre, but it's also a pejorative label. And I think marketing for shows like fight against it, like, oh no, Jersey Shore is not reality TV. It's just people having a good time. Like, what? Like, it's like, no show's gonna be like, come watch our reality TV. We got the best one. They always market it as not reality TV.
Is Judge Judy reality TV?
No,
I don't think so.
It's an exercise in human misery.
Judge shows have their own thing.
Yeah, but if they made a show like The Osbournes, where we went to Judge Judy's house and watched her get along with her husband and her kids, that would be reality TV.
So I guess reality TV isn't just like a blanket term for stuff that's not sort of like with real people filming real people doing stuff, like for example, a show on the Discovery Channel where, like, Crocodile Hunter or something, where he's going through and all that. Even though it's all real, what he's presenting, that's not reality. The term reality TV is almost a misnomer. Like, it's
a little bit. It's like personality conflict TV is what they should call it.
Right.
I mean, like,
no, and I think that's fair. That's what I mean about the parameters. I think that, like, if you told somebody, like, who had no knowledge of any of this, you said, "Hey, do you want to watch some reality TV?" They would probably have a very different feeling about what you were talking about than what you are actually talking about, because they would be like, "Whoa, TV that goes into the nature of our reality," or they'd be like, "Oh, TV that's about real stuff that's going on." Like, if it's a fiction TV show, then it wouldn't be a reality TV show, but if it's a nonfiction, then it would be a reality show, right? But that's not at all the case. It's what Bo said. Really, it's like, it's characters that are ostensibly real people, but the drama is very much, it's either completely manufactured in the sense of, like, those shows, like, I think of the housewife shows and the Jersey Shore shows or whatever, or it's manufactured through an artificial dynamic, like Survivor and editing. So, like, Survivor is, like, I don't think, Survivor is a game show, but, like, all the conflicts that happen on that are based on this artificial situation that they're in that is skewing them towards perhaps conflict, and
it forces them to interact, I think, on some level. Like in the creation of a reality TV show, you have to set up a situation like Mike the Situation from Jersey Shore.
Like what? Whose situation?
Well,
That's
one of the guys on Jersey Shore. I think his name is Mike, but his street name is The Situation. So you just call him The Situation.
Mike the Situation Sorrentino or something like that.
Yeah.
I've never seen. I don't think I've seen that show.
Honestly, you should watch the first season just at least to get a piece of culture in you.
A whole season? I don't think so.
Trust me, you'll keep watching. It's hard to not like it. It's one of those.
So
it's a train wreck. It's a train wreck.
Reality show is addictive. Like it's manufactured to be addictive.
Wow. As
like,
addictive as Game of Thrones is. I mean,
no, but reality is there a reality show that is just designed to make you watch one show and be sated? I'll tell you right now.
No
when
TV,
I think of
no television show is really designed that way, right?
Well, you know, like a singular Law
no
and
dramatic
Order episode.
show.
Or, you know, there's singular, like even CSI or whatever episode. Like they have the crime of the week. They solve the crime. Boom, you're in, you're out. Like, I mean, there are types of shows that are designed to have sort of insular episodes. I'd argue that NCIS show, which incidentally is like the most popular show for the past like 5 years, is like a kind of, you know, you could be in, you could be out. They don't try to hook you in the same way that a reality show does. Now, here's the thing is like my favorite reality show, because reality shows kind of boomed with Survivor in like around 2000, and then they at one point it was really, really popular, and then I would argue now that
still
maybe
big,
they're in a lull or whatever. Sorry, Bo.
I think they're still big. We just don't watch them.
Maybe they're still big, but there was a moment I think in pop culture where like everybody in it, you know, with the rise of Survivor, Big Brother, The Bachelor, all these game show type ones. And then there was a different boom. There's been other booms when new genres of reality shows, like those housewife shows, like the Orange County ones and all that. There was a big boom at one point for those. I still think they're big enough business, but I think at one point they really had a big boom. But one that I got into a little bit, like one season of, was Hell's Kitchen. I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen.
Yeah, Hell's Kitchen's great. I've watched.
But Hell's Kitchen was the example for me of the archetypal reality show in the sense that it had so much of, I don't know, it preyed on like the chemicals in your brain to be like, you know, find out what happens next. You know, like they would have ads in the show for stuff happening on later on in the show, you know, like who will be eliminated, you know, find out, you know, and then later in the show, and they would do tension drawing out moments, like a lot of that. So for example, when you find out, when Gordon Ramsay is like, somebody's got to leave the kitchen or something like that, he doesn't just say like, you know, someone's got to leave or whatever. Hey, you're gone, you know, whatever. There's like this, like, and the music all swells and swells and swells up into the point where he names the person and then they're revealed. Like it's all very much done to sort of prey on your emotions as much as possible. Like you're like, who's gonna go? Oh my God, Steve's gone! I can't believe it! I thought he was gonna make the finals. You know, like, but the way that they hook you with the editing, the music, the everything. I remember with the Hell's Kitchen, I was like, I don't care about cooking, but why am I so wrapped up in this? I don't even know.
Yeah, quit screwing up the beef Wellington. Why isn't prep done? I mean, the problem with Hell's Kitchen is that a lot of it's filler. That's the thing. Like it's just they do all that stuff, but there's actually some, you know, interesting human travesty, human exaggerated emotion that goes on that is entertaining to watch.
Like, I mean, those ones at least have a kind of background structure of something game show-esque, or like Survivor, and even these ones like Pawn Stars or Orange County Choppers. There's like a thing.
Well, I mean,
happening.
There's a real prize with the Hell's Kitchen. They get to be head chef of a very high-end restaurant. Like it's the rewards they get for it are actually significant.
Yeah, I mean, but regardless of yeah, I mean that one in particular for sure, and but there's still some structure. But then there's the kind that are like just the pure reality. Like, I mean, I'm thinking again of like, I haven't watched yet, but what I sort of assume like Real Housewives of whatever is like, or I was thinking Big Brother to a certain extent has a background of kind of watch that. It's been a long time, but like it seems like because they're not scripted, they have a lot of them rely on these sort of background structures to move along the kind of like conflict, and it seems like they're just designed like whenever I think of reality TV, I think of people screaming at each other. That's what I think of. And then when I think of reality, like the interactions I have with people, that never happens. So I'm like, it's like these things are like experiments in fucking
Oh,
with human beings
well,
to make
yeah.
them as uncomfortable as possible, and then let's all watch as they hate each other.
They have to do that. Like in a television, if you're writing a dramatic work of art, you have to, create conflict. You've taken screenwriting classes, right? You have to create the situation that causes the characters to push up against each other, create dramatic tension for people with different. So we have to do that with real people. So as like you said,
no, we don't.
No,
No,
I'm sorry. Wait, reality television has to do that with real people,
right?
And in order to create the narratives. So the dressing is the dressing. Like you said, it could be a game show. Big Brother's a game show. The Hell's Kitchen is just a game show. But it's a game show where they make the contestants bunk together and then work together. But I have no doubt that people go around and intentionally like let's say I did a good job of cutting up all my vegetables. And they swap out the vegetables and put poorly cut ones in there, or shit like that, in order to create like who didn't cut the vegetables right, and everyone's pointing fingers at each other, and all of a sudden you've got something to put on television. So.
Well, yeah, someone who doesn't like conflict dodges, you better stop talking about winter and your love of it all the time, or people will scream at you.
Well, that's not contrived though.
I feel like
in the wrong country.
The best people they put on reality shows really think and believe the stupid shit that they go through. Like the memorable ones, all the ones that are idiots that everyone sort of loves to point at and laugh and talk about at work the next day. Are people really that dumb?
Hey, yeah, can I tell a little pseudo embarrassing story that will sort of seg into what I think about some of these things?
Please do.
So here's the deal. Like disclaimer, during this boom of reality shows, I watched The Apprentice, featuring your favorite president and mine, Donald Trump. Believe it or not, before he was a president, he was a reality host, and
we all know this.
Part-time huckster.
Yeah, get on with the story.
So explaining like we didn't know this. Like nobody knows this out there.
And just for context, a television is a box in which you watch something that people have filmed. It's like
and it's moving pictures, but they don't really move. It's actually frames of animation that moves.
So the Apprentice was 100%. Knit from the same cloth as all these shows. Like there was like a template post Survivor. You had the teams, someone got eliminated at the end. There's an elimination thing. In Trump's case, he fired the person, all that sort of stuff. So it was the first episode, and it was the same like the Hell's Kitchen guy who got the chef job, and the whole the winner. And I still remember the first guy's name was like Bill Rancic, I think was his name. The fact I still remember that is retarded. But he got a high-level job in the Trump organization running a like skyscraper project or something, some ridiculous project, right? So it was actually supposed to be about like good business people and like who had the best sort of business practices, and all the competitions were tailored to like testing somebody's skill, just in the same way that Hell's Kitchen was supposed to be about testing their cooking. But at one point, like, ratings swelled and people were like, okay, we're into this. There was a couple of seasons, and then ratings sort of kind of tapered off a little bit. So then somebody had the idea. They were like, instead of like getting nobody businessmen, let's get like celebrities instead and test their business acumen. So then they started having the Celebrity Apprentice, and they would alternate between the regular apprentice and the Celebrity Apprentice. And then at one point they realized that people were not following the regular Apprentice nearly as much, and they just went full Celebrity Apprentice with all these B, C, D level celebrities, and it just got crasser and crasser. Believe it or not, it's not like it started as high art to begin with. In the first season, Trump had these two advisors that ostensibly worked for the Trump organization, but by like season like 4 or 5, he fired them both and replaced them with his kids. That was foreshadowing, by the way. And then so bottom line is this show, which started like, okay, it had some sort of aspirations of like showing business practices in a certain light and making a competition out of it and all that, turned into like this complete sideshow, like more so than it even was at the beginning. It just degraded. And that to me is a good representation of reality TV in general. They're the high points of reality TV show, and I think Survivor is one of them, came early, and then we've just been like going down the hill since then. And
I got two things. One.
All right.
One.
I've talked enough.
Where was the embarrassing part in the story? You just explained how the Apprentice worked.
Me watching Donald Trump's show. That's
we all
embarrassing.
watched it. We all watched it.
No, we didn't all watch
I watched it. We all watched
Mike,
it.
did you watch it?
I think I've seen some of the first season.
Ah,
Yeah.
there, perfect. Maybe it's not
I
embarrassing.
just said I watched Jersey Shore. Like, you're amongst friends here.
I mean, like,
I'm waiting for and I jacked off to it.
Supporting Trump in any capacity feels like a dirty thing.
Well, it's
now.
one thing to support him
All
when
right,
you're
hang on.
kind of half laughing at his stupid "you're fired" gimmick. It's another thing when he's president.
I had two.
But oh yeah, go ahead, Bo.
I had two. But I forgot the other shit.
So one was that it was not embarrassing.
There's nothing to be embarrassed about. But the second one was, I take issue with the fact that it's declining. Because who's the hottest hip hop artist right now? Who's the hottest hip hop artist?
Cardi B.
Cardi B. Shout out Cardi B, right, guys?
Yeah, shout out Cardi B.
Shout out
You know what she got?
She
got her. Shout out Cardi B. Shout out Cardi B. Boom.
But for the record, I also hate Cardi B.
no,
shout out Cardi B.
Shout out Cardi B.
But
I
I despise her work.
shout out Cardi B. For those not getting it, it's sort of an inside joke.
So what does she have a shitty reality?
She got her start on Love and Hip Hop, which is still running. It's a huge reality TV show.
I did not know that. I could dislike Cardi B more.
There's a whole compilation of her time, and you can hear her talk about, I got my nails done, and I'm hanging out with my sisters. You know what I'm saying?
God.
Anyway, we went out down to the club, and we met some dudes, and the dudes were like, we want to get with y'all. We were like, we ain't seeing that. Like, it's, shout out Cardi B. I wasn't trying to make fun of you. It's just, talk
Look,
like
she's
that.
the hottest artist in the city.
Hottest artist in the city.
But
shout out Cardi B. But she got her start on Love and Hip Hop, and that show's huge. Like, I think when you say there's a decline in reality TV, I think it's because we're just not the audience. Like, it's like we have moved past it. We know it's artifice. We don't respect it. We don't watch it. So. And we're all on Netflix now, but there are a lot of people watching.
I don't think Crofton was saying that no one's watching it, but that it started with some aspirations of, this is a new and interesting kind of TV. Let's watch it, and we can do so in a certain. And then it just devolved into like trash. People screaming at each other, just utter trash that people consume in the same way that they eat, like, that we eat chips and drink Coke all day, like, it's trash. We all know it's trash. It's fully that now. I think that's all Crofton was saying. There was a time when we were all like, I remember Survivor. I was invested in Survivor for a couple seasons when I was like, this is an interesting show. It felt new, but now it's just devolved into like people. Like, I can't watch it anymore because I just feel like it's embarrassing. It's people who just throwing their dignity out the window to act like idiots so that they can become C-level celebrities and then maybe make it big and get on Celebrity Apprentice as
Hey,
the C-level
that was
celebrity.
that was the slogan for this podcast, and I resent you using it as your own
We
idea.
gotta tread carefully. This show is kind of borderline reality.
This is not reality. We're just having a conversation about
But we
something.
create conflict.
It's not reality.
We invent
TV show.
problems.
There's no contrived
We
thing.
invent problems with mixers that are working just fine, but all of a sudden they're not working, and then Crofton's pissing me off.
But remember, we said, and I
kidding.
think this
I'm
is true,
joking.
we did not say that reality TV is not a reflection of reality. Like, we're having a conversation right now. We can disagree about things. That's different. You know, you can listen to any day of the week talk radio and you'll hear the same thing. It's not reality TV. It's its own thing. You know, I haven't watched it in a while, but just because something is still my point about the Cardi B thing.
Shout out Cardi B.
And
Hottest artist in the city.
well, and didn't she win? This is an aside, but so she won like best rap album, and people were like, "Oh, this is such an achievement! No woman's ever won best rap album." And then it's like having listened to some of her songs on Bo's encouragement. I'm like, this is not an achievement for women. It is not an achievement for anyone.
It's not really an achievement for hip hop either. Also, Nicki Minaj
it is
way
a sad
better.
state of affairs of pop culture where we're like, this is the best. She's like, I like checks, money. I'm like, this is where we're at. Where that's the best fucking thing we have. It's so sad. It makes me want to weep.
I'm
believe you
Team
remember
Barbie.
that.
Anyway.
Oh God, it's seared into my brain in a terrible way. It's like a nightmare.
That song just wasn't for you, man.
No, it's garbage. It's garbage. It's superficial. Like, all we care about is the most basic crap of like, I need to get paid so I can get some bling. Like, come on. You know, everyone knows once you get over a certain age, that's all shit. It's not what makes your life good. Everyone knows that, you know, unless you're an idiot, unless you watch reality TV shows.
Well, hang on. Before we go in, I kind of just want to keep talking about Cardi B because it's fun. Shout out Cardi B. Respect. But when I did that impression of you, if you're listening, it was just out of respect. It was not.
Mine wasn't. It was. I
know. We got some issues to work out.
Mike's got beef with you, Cardi.
Shout out Cardi B, but let's face it, she is awful.
Oh man, no, don't be a hater. Don't be a hater. Or whatever. Do what you want. I don't care. What I wanted to say was there is a good example of a reality TV show, and it may be just because I like it, because I think all of the criticisms you kind of throw at the artifice of it still remain true in this case. And Crofton brought up the right celebrities, Gordon Ramsay, but it's not Hell's Kitchen. It's the UK version of Kitchen Nightmares, not the American one, because they're pseudo-documentaries. He doesn't cuss anyone out. He has a temper. When he sees stuff in bad shape, he says it, but it's very mundane. It's very, it's a family. They're on the ropes, and he's trying to help them, and they're making drama out of people's tough lives, but most of them are basically happy ending stories and success stories, and like it's the complete opposite of Hell's Kitchen. Still Gordon Ramsay, still has a temper, but they don't hype up like him as a madman. They just show him he has an intensity about standards in cooking in kitchens, and then showing what his influence can bring to all these restaurants. It's a beautiful reality television series, and I would recommend it and wholeheartedly tell people to watch it.
So
it was on Netflix. I don't know if it still is.
Here's the thing, Bo, is like, and playing devil's advocate, I was going to say, are there any reality shows that like add value, teach you something, or whatever? Like, and I think that it's possible to find them because it is a broad genre, and you could look at all this sort of stuff. And I'm not saying that Kitchen Nightmare show is not good or is bad.
Shout out Gordon Ramsay.
But
Gordy B. Shout out Gordy B. Or Gordy R.
With reality shows, like if you have this category and you look at it and you say like, of that group, 5 to 10% of it is good, 60% is mediocre, and whatever the rest is, I'm bad at math, is god awful. then I would say that doesn't make a good overall thing. You know, like when you're looking at it, you're like, oh, okay, there's not much of redeeming value in this field. I remember at one point, I don't know if it still exists, but they were giving an Emmy for best reality TV show, and then it became, and they eventually had one for best reality host or something. But like that that's what it was always the same shows. I think The Amazing Race won it like 20 years in a row, and then Survivor won it once or something like that. And it's always the same shows because these shows run for a ridiculous amount of seasons. And I'm not saying The Amazing Race isn't like a fun show to watch, but it's the exception and not the rule. I just think the overall rule of these shows is that they're like lowbrow, but in a bad way, like in a way that is making you kind of like.
And
I find the wholesome ones much less reprehensible when they're wholesome.
But even the what do you mean the wholesome ones, like that family with like 25
Nightmares.
kids or whatever?
No, Kitchen Nightmares is a wholesome one. The UK one, Amazing Race, I consider a wholesome one. I don't think I've ever watched. I haven't watched too much Amazing Race, but it's always seemed like they were competing and nobody.
But they're competing, but there's still it's still a bit reality TV
nobody
show.
was
and
debasing.
It is a reality.
But no, but I'm saying they were
but,
wholesome. No one was debasing themselves or.
But it's like okay, so a couple things. Still the dignity thing, and I think like we're gawking at people basically, like doing stupid shit and throwing their dignity out their windows. And I would include some like Amazing Race in that, because there's always one where it's like, okay, now someone on your team has to eat the testicles of a rat or something like that, and then they do it and throw up on. Or whatever, and you're just like, why are we watching this? Like, why is this a thing? So, like, there's that aspect. I really feel like we're just watching people debase themselves for want of fame or want of money, both of which are sad ends to watch someone,
And we lost him. Kind of looks like uncomfortable. Mike's frame right now. And Crofton's muted.
For my opinion, is it
Oh, there he is. He's back.
I think so. Oh, you're back.
I was gonna say that he has no idea that he's been gone this whole time. Like,
I've been ranting for.
Yeah.
You've been gone for a solid minute at least.
Well,
you were you were just saying how much you liked reality TV.
Oh yeah, okay. No, what was the last bit I said?
I don't remember. We waited a.
Okay, so I'll just pick up from where it was at, which was reality TV. It is around and is successful not because people want it and demand it, but also because it's cheap to make by the networks.
Cheap to make.
We all know this. It's hard to make TV, but it's like if you build a cheap product, like, well, that's what you get, right? And so it's like reality TV. Good Bo talked about. They're trying to create conflict and drama, and it's like, look, if you watch a fine piece of fiction that's crafted by someone who's a good writer, who knows how to draw out that kind of drama that we want to see on screen in a good movie, hopefully that there's thought behind it. There could be allegory behind it. Like it's something that is a piece of art that you can draw something with, lessons, entertainment, whatever. None of that is present in reality TV. Like it is just conflict without purpose. And I would say that most decent fiction is conflict with purpose. And usually it's to teach you something about humanity or whatever. And if something I learned from reality TV, it's that, like, man, human beings are even shittier than I thought they were. Like when you watch this stuff, it's just like people just squabbling about shit, and it's just like, but it's also not. I have no experience like that when I watch the way people have conflict on these shows and allow themselves to be put into situations where conflict is just dropped on them, where if I was in one of these shows, sometimes I would be like, this is dumb. Why are we doing this? This is so silly. Like, it's $1 million at the end of Survivor. I was like, who cares? Why don't we agree to split it up? We'll each take a few. People are like, get this guy off the show. He's not making good drama.
What's your take on improv, though?
Improv? Well, it's not improv. Like, they're not doing improv.
But improv is not created with an intent to go anywhere. They don't know where they're going.
No, but improv is a team exercise. They're working together. Good improv is the yes and, right. It's people working together to try to usually make something entertaining. But none of this is improv. It's unscripted.
No,
But that doesn't mean
it's unscripted and not
improv are talented people who
the degree to which the participants are unwitting is also the degree to which, in your knowledge of that, you enjoy reality TV more. Like the less someone is aware of what's happening to them as part of being a subject on a reality television series, the more delicious it is, I think, for the people who consume it.
I guess, but it's just like, do you take pleasure in laughing? It's like laughing at someone.
The vast majority of the examples are as you describe. I would say, again, that it's a very slender minority, but it is possible to create wholesome content that isn't about laughing. 99% of it's as you describe, but man, Kitchen Nightmares, it's super good.
Well, I'm glad you have a show you like. I think we should roll in the verdicts right now because I think we're all dancing around our verdicts. Bring in those farm animals.
Oh
sure.
Yeah, we good? It's verdict time already? Oh my god, I feel like
already. It's been like an hour.
I don't know. I gotta be honest with you. I kind of like talking about.
You have more to say about reality TV?
I don't know. I have more to say. We've explained what it is.
I think we're kind of talking around. Don't worry, we can draw out your verdict. You always do.
What? You mean Crofton always does?
How dare you say that?
Order, I say. Order in the court.
How's your ears holding up, Crofton?
I
Me
think
first.
as
Me
the
first.
host, Mike should go first. Also, his verdict is so clear that you could see it from space. So go ahead.
It's walking from across like the desert. You can just see it just walking with the sun in the background. Here it comes.
You mean
nice
the
and
ice
slow.
desert where he's slipping his way across? Barely making
Skiing
it?
across the icy snow, right up into your face, takes a pause, looks at you, and says, "Bad," because that's what you all knew I was gonna say. It's just reality TV is bad. It's not good TV. It's bad TV. It's not good reality. It's a bad reality. It's not even reality. I have a hard time finding anything redeemable about it. And versions of other things that are the non-reality TV versions of those things are better. Like, so it's like, if you want to watch Pickers to learn about antiques, or Antiques Roadshow, as we were talking about, Antiques Roadshow is far superior if what you're interested in is antiques. If you want to watch a cooking show and learn something about cooking, don't watch Gordon Ramsay shit on people. Watch salt, acid, fat, heat. It's more entertaining. You'll learn more. It's nice. It's a great piece of television. Watch it on Netflix. There's a way to watch all of anything that reality TV is putting out. There's a better version of it that isn't about demeaning and debasing people and us pointing and laughing as they humiliate themselves on TV because they're unfortunate souls who think that the money that they're going to get at the end of this is just the greatest thing ever. And I don't take pleasure in pointing and laughing at people. There was a time in my life when I did. Those days were like when I was a teenager or in my 20s. I'm like, I don't anymore. I just feel bad and sad for those people. And when I watch reality TV, that's usually how I feel. And say, well, why have I done this? So yeah, it's terrible. All right, I'm done.
All right, I want to bring up the rear, Crofton. I haven't done that in a while.
Okay, I'll go next. My turn. So I'm gonna vote for Mike. I'll be honest, Mike. No hard feelings. I had an alliance with Bo from pretty much day one, and we really wanted to get on with you, but you keep going on these long rants and about there's no pleasure in the world and that people should watch Netflix and all this. And honestly, we can't take it anymore. So, no hard feelings. I hope we can be friends off the show, but I got to vote for you. Also, I'm going to say that overall for reality shows, they're bullshit. So if I could get that sound effect, that'd be great. And the thing about reality shows is that they are bullshit. Like pretty much all of them are garbage. However, I have been very much entertained by certain ones. They really prey on your emotions or whatever. But I mean, I want to reserve bad for things that are actually really bad. And reality shows, like, whatever, who am I to judge one person's entertainment over another? Really? Like, I think they're crappy. I think there's better stuff that you could watch. I also think that there's shows like Mary Kondo on Netflix or whatever that have, like, that aren't about laughing about people and that are perhaps have redeemable stuff. I like some of the competition shows, but I think by and large it's a pile of sludge. So I'm gonna say it's bullshit, though I mostly agree with everything that Mike said, despite voting him off the island. That's my verdict.
Well played.
That deserves an applause. Wow.
All right, Bo.
I think that was the best verdict delivered so far. I think Crofton set a new bar for doing a bit. I'd just like to dedicate my verdict to his verdict. His verdict is dedicated to him and his excellent.
You wanted to go up the rear. You knew you had to follow.
I should tell you before you leave, Mike, that I voted for you too, for all the reasons Crofton said.
Now I have to go back to my pathetic life.
You know what?
Without the $30,000 I was hoping to earn at the end of this, and to think I ate the vomit of that donkey to stay on in round 3.
And you're not even on the jury.
We appreciate that you did that, but it just wasn't enough. It just, it wasn't enough. But thank you. Yeah, I kind of agree with a lot with what Mike said, actually. I just feel like I don't feel angry. I don't feel that angry energy and hatred towards it. I feel like there are good examples of wholesome reality television that, yes, I know are manufactured, but are not necessarily. It's not Gary Busey on The Celebrity Apprentice. Which, I mean, I watched with great entertainment. I'm not going to lie. Gary Busey he was a virtuoso of reality television. That was quite an experience. But I'm hard-pressed to think of very few that really deeply impacted me, like Kitchen Nightmares. I thought The Kitchen Nightmares was fantastic. It might be the only one that I would recommend as a worth watch. But I think there are people who do cool things who don't necessarily have salacious angle on their shows that still might be fun to watch a day of, and it kind of crisscrosses into that, reality TV versus shit show. Like, another good one actually that I thought was okay was the Gene Simmons reality show. I don't know if you guys watched that, but they didn't do anything crazy on that show.
Gene Simmons' Family Jewels?
That's right. That show is actually decent. Like, they don't exploit people. He doesn't do weird things. And it's kind of all about him and how much of a entrepreneur he is. Like,
but why do you want to watch it?
It's interesting.
Do you have anything better to do?
It's entertaining. And that's why you would want to watch it. And yes, it is manufactured. Yes, there's a dramatic arc. It's not a documentary or a live stream where you're just watching footage like a newsreel, but it was wholesome and felt good. So I think there are examples where it can be good, but I'm gonna settle my verdict on bullshit because the overwhelming majority of it is exploitative shit. So bullshit it is. Team bullshit. Last on the
alliance stands.
Yeah.
The what funny thing about Gene Simmons is that he was on, I think, one of the first Donald Trump Celebrity Apprentices.
Yeah.
And you can see the thing with Donald Trump and the Celebrity Apprentices is that there's some celebrities that are more famous than others or make for better TV. And he clearly did not want to fire them despite them being super incompetent. Like, it would be like somebody semi-competent, like, against somebody ridiculously incompetent, and he would just be like, well, you're more famous, so the other one is fired. But Gene Simmons, one week, like, he pretty much quit. Like, he's like, I take full responsibility. And Donald was like, you should blame somebody else. He's like, nope, blame me. And then he was like, Gene, I really don't want to fire you. He's like, no, fire me or whatever. And you can see Donald Trump just seeing money fly out the door. He's like, oh, I really want to keep Gene Simmons on this show. But it's so manufactured.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, listeners, if you want to tell us that our show
You guys hear that? Wait. Oh, a piece of mail flew in. The bird delivered it. He dropped it on your lap. But wait, I have to read it. I don't know.
That makes
Internet
sense.
works weird. we got a message, guys. From I'll just say your first name because I don't want to presume, but from another Michael. And
there are many of us, the Michael Club.
And the subject line of his message was that he loves the show. Which when you get an email, I never know what we're gonna get with the show. We get nothing but positive, so I don't know why I say that, but like, I just assume someone's gonna listen to this and be like, "Fuck your show." And
but what I've always thought though is it it's like everyone watches their show, their parents tell them like, well, if you don't have anything to say, don't say anything at all. And then we haven't gotten mail forever. So
well, that's one way to look at it. But he says love the show. So Michael says, Bo, Croft, and Michael, all names spelled correctly, which is impressive. I just want, except the Michael part.
Our own names correct?
He spelled his own name right, but the Bo Crofton part's impressive. I just wanted to write in and tell you that I enjoy your show, and I've been listening to older episodes on my way to work. It always makes me laugh, and I enjoy how your opinions make me think twice about the topics. Keep up the great pod. Just kidding, nobody says pod. Still keep it up, though. Cheers from Edmonton, Alberta, Michael.
All right, Mike from Edmonton. And I like the throwback to the pod. Yeah, I think we need to bring that back, guys.
Well, it's probably the latest episode that's been released.
Was it? I thought that was a while back.
I know.
It was a while back.
That's the joke.
But a curious twist of irony, because on another show I do called Core, which used to focus on Heroes of the Storm, our Twitter handle was Core Heroes, right? And Scott recently changed it to Core Pod. And he hates pod too. And like literally a bunch of people came out of the woodwork and they're like, why did you call it pod?
Like, welcome to the pod.
He's like, leave me alone. Screw off. I just needed to change it.
I really should bring that back. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you, Michael, for sending that.
Yes,
us that. I know it doesn't seem like much, but like honestly, for us doing a show like this, it's a small show. Every time we get one of those, it really, really makes a big difference for us personally. Like, we're obviously not getting rich on this or anything, so like we enjoy doing it. We enjoy hanging out with each other and even Mike sometimes. But like, but we really appreciate positive feedback. Any positive feedback you want to throw our way is great. And if you send us one piece of negative feedback, we'll probably pull the whole plug on the show up. I'm just
no, we can take it. Look, I just got voted off the show today, and I'm doing all right. So if you want to call in and shit on us, please do so. There's nothing wrong with that. We're into open dialogue on the show. Thanks again, Mike, for writing in and giving us your opinion. I don't know if you go by Mike or Michael. Everyone always tells me, is it Mike or Michael? And I say, I don't care. My name has no value. But anyways, we'd like to hear from you. So if you want to write in and throw your vote in to kick me off the show, please do. You can get in touch with us in several ways. Go to goodbadbull.com. That's like the jumping off point to find the ways to get in touch. So there's goodbadbull@gmail.com, on the Twitter @goodbadbull, or you can go on the Facebook page if you want to do that and send us a message there. Probably to Bo. I don't know if anyone else checks it. But you can listen to the show, Google Play, iTunes. I think there's another one now.
Spotify.
What's the other one, Bo?
We're on Spotify.
Yeah, good old
there's Google
Spotify.
Play, there's iTunes, and then we're on Spotify now. Although I haven't checked it. If someone who has Spotify can tell me that they were able to listen to the show, that'd be great. I don't have Spotify.
It would be great. And we still have
I have Spotify.
Oh, are we on there? Yo, you listen to it. You're a number one listener, so.
That's true. Crofton's the number one listener.
Yeah,
he's also the head of the Crofton Steers Croftaholics fan club.
There's dozens of us.
Yeah, most of them live in your house, and are aware they're in the club. But we also have a Patreon page for people who wanted to support the show, and always a great shout out to our patrons. Thank you for your support. We very much appreciate it. And if you want to check that out, it's patreon.com/goodbadbull.
Quick little earmark on that, actually, just because it's relevant. We had only one goal on our Patreon page of hitting $25. And
oh my God!
And the reward for reaching $25 was I'd come up with some other goals and work on this harder. And I made that about 4 years ago because you're supposed to put stretch goals and you can give rewards. We have a lot to talk about, but I didn't want to make this whole huge enterprise. No, for a long time it was only my mom who was giving us $5 a month for like the longest time. So
Yay, both mom.
anyways,
So wait, we made $25 in 4 years. That's pretty good.
no, we're making $25 a month now, thanks to our generous donations to the patrons.
What's my checks coming in, Bo?
Well, I use the money right now to pay for our web hosting, so most of it's
just kidding.
out the door. But it does help to not have, like, Crofton and Mike haven't had to pay for any hosting stuff for a couple of years now. Me neither, because it's all coming out of the...
Hello, my boss? I quit. I'm raking in the money. I'm a professional podcaster now.
But it's really nice. We appreciate the support that's there. And I did put up a commitment on the site, and I just noticed it today, actually. So we'll maybe think about, we've talked about doing T-shirts or something like that. I don't know what we might come up with.
Well, we still have
goals,
the awesome stickers we had made. We should send those out to everyone who got us the $25.
We'll figure out what that looks like. But
I can talk to a wall like Mike.
We still, now we actually have to think about it. I made a promise if we hit $25, we think about doing some other goals and maybe some patron perks or something like that. Special recordings, private conversations with our patrons, something like that. Who knows? If you have any opinions on what you think might be a good idea.
Bo will fly you down to Ottawa, and we'll all get together in his apartment.
We'll have to make quite a bit of moolah for that. So let's not make any promises.
And if we all work together, we could have it cleaned up by the end of the weekend.
Come fly down to Bo's and clean up his house.
It's going to take a lot of people. So.
Screw you. All right. So, yeah, that's... sorry to interrupt. I know I interrupted a lot.
So I don't know. I was just going to say what you guys were going to tell about how great Twitter is, and I was going to say that I'm not on it. So, that's the usual end.
All right, we'll do that.
Okay, do it. Bo, you like Twitter.
I'm at Bo Schwartz on Twitter. Follow me there. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm at Crofton Steers on Twitter, at Crofton Steers, and also I do another podcast called Dungeons and Diapers, and you should go listen to that too. www.tgistudios/DAD. Dad, it's awesome. I'm awesome.
I'm Mike Hodges, just some dude trying to live his best life. Yeah.
I'm kind of jealous now that Mike isn't doing one. I kind of want some of that clout.
Of doing what?
I'm just not saying where I am on Twitter, not handing out my socials.
I'm not on there. You can't find me.
I know.
But you know what? I would love to talk to some of our...
You're getting voted off again, Mike.
Yeah, I'm getting voted off again by Crofton. That's the internet culture we live in. This guy, you get him out of here.
I vote him off the winter island.
Yeah, it's funny. I keep thinking that I'm like, I think as I get older, I just like winter more. The cold has not been bothering me at all, I'll say. And it's been cold, too. I'm like, whatever, I'm used to it. I'm not sweaty. It's great.
Can I ask a question? What's the worst thing you've seen on reality television?
What? Sorry?
What's the worst thing you've seen on reality television?
Oh, I don't know. I can't think of a single thing. I just have a general feeling of like... time wasted is how I feel whenever I watch it.
You know what? It's not something I've seen per se in so much as that it's like every once in a while you'll see like a show and it'll have a breakout character and then that character will get their own show, like Omarosa is obviously the one on Apprentice or whatever. But whenever I see like that sort of domino effect, I'm always like, oh my God, that is the lowest common denominator. It's like a character on one reality show gets their own reality show. You're like I think there was this what's the guy from the a rapper looking for love. Bo, come on, help me out.
Oh, you're talking about Flavor Flav.
Yeah, Flavor Flav. And he had some show, and it was like Flavor Flav looking for love. And then like one of the girls on that show got her own show or whatever.
Oh,
anyway,
really? As far as I knew, it was Bret Michaels that did the first one, and then it was Flavor Flav that did two. Man, that show was, oh my God. Speaking of, I want to poison Mike's brain a bit because I don't think he's watched Flavor of Love, right? With Flavor Flav.
I missed that.
But you know who Flavor Flav is, right? Though Public Enemy.
He's got the clock on his head.
Yeah, so I think
even Mike knows.
He's got like drug problems. Like it's weird because Public Enemy really gives off it really gives off a vibe of like almost kind of straight edge, like they're very political and hard hitting. They don't really, in their rap music, they talk about being black in America a lot. It's very politically driven. And then you've got Flavor Flav goes, yeah, boy, but he's like a hype man, raps a bit. But even some of his songs are very socially conscious, at least back in the day. I listen to a lot of Public Enemy. So it was really disturbing to actually see him be on the show. But at one point, so the girls in the first episode of the show, they come in and he gives them nicknames. And I don't remember what the nicknames are. I think one of them, he called her New York. You know, they have real names, but he'd just be like, I'm going to call you New York.
Oh, that was the girl. Yeah, that girl, New York. She got her own show.
She did. She blew
I've never
up.
seen it,
Yeah.
but like the fact that she got her own show to me, it was like, oh my god, that's
it.
the bottom of the well.
She's a crazy extroverted personality that's just extra. But what really struck me is like, holy shit, there were two twins that were contestants, and I think he had like a writer's block or something. I don't know, because he's coming up with these names for people. You're New York. You're Paris. You're lovely, you know, just these very patronizing nicknames, patriarchal. And then he looks at the twins, he goes, I'm going to call you Thing 1 and you're Thing 2. And I'm like, it was the most dehumanizing. They were like, they had this look of like, they didn't like it. And then they pretended like, okay, Flavor Flav, I'm Thing 1 and you're Thing 2. And it was like, it was the most dehumanizing, like, shit I've ever seen. And I was like, oh, this is so gross. I'm going to keep watching.
I'm on the Wikipedia article, and Thing 2 won that season, by the way, Bo.
Oh, did she? I don't remember that part. I think I might have actually stopped, without making a joke about it, I think I might have stopped watching that because of that.
Yeah, well,
Really?
listen,
Thing 2,
I
Flavor
feel
Flav?
like I'm wasting my life being told about this show. That's how bad.
You know what you can do?
Reality
You know what you can do?
Leave.
You can.
Bo, end the show.
Oh, there we
End the
go.
show.
All right, show's over. I'm
end
ending
the
it.
show, Bo.
Yeah, show's over.
End the show.
Ending
Wait,
it.
where's my vote? Vote Mike off.
You already did that.
Show's over.
Damn.
You missed it.
God damn it.
Nice job. Nice job.
Ah.
Man,
we got
I
there.
hate reality TV.
I don't. But what's fun about those topics sometimes is when it gets drawn. Like, you know, it's like when it gets drawn, I immediately know where Mike stands on it. Like, I don't even need anything else. They're like, I'm just like, okay, we know where Mike's at. I was curious. I was curious.
Yeah,
about
Bo's an
Bo.
interesting.
And then it was just like, let's just talk about it, because I know what's going to happen is that at the end, Mike's going to be like, this is the worst and I hate it. You know, like,
I do hate it.
I know, it's fine. I totally
No,
get
and
hating it.
I'm okay with being at this point. It's like you guys should, and probably so should our listeners, have a pretty good sense of what I'm going to say. Like because I'm in earnest in who I am on this show, so it makes sense.
Wouldn't it be a huge twist if you were a huge reality show fan? Like, if that was the, like somebody's listening and Mike's like, look, I know this might come as a surprise to all of you, but I love Flavor of Love.
I've seen every.
I own the
season multiple
4K
times.
Blu-rays. Like, yeah.
I thought of you today, Croft, and I was listening to a movie review called Fighting with My Family. It's like a wrestling.
Yeah,
sort of-
I know Fighting with My Family.
Okay, so what was funny to me about it was that it was being reviewed by one of like the CBC's morning movie review guys and you hear he's movie review people, often they sound like pompous, kind of jackass, because they went to film school and they're going through it. I'm like, I'll listen to them. I like that one guy, Robert Fontaine, because he hated everything. That guy was the best, and he wasn't quite as pompous. But this guy was quite pompous, and he was going on. And then at one point, this is why I thought of you. He said, and I guess at one point in the film, they trying to send videos to WWE, and he says, I guess this is the fictionalized version of the WWF. That's what he said. And I was like, oh man, Croft didn't have a fit if he heard that guy, because that guy, it like accentuated how pompous he was to be like, it's been called the WWE for decades, and
2000 or 1999
and
or something.
he's so disconnected from that world, which is fine. I understand that, but I'm like, I well knew it was called that, and I'm pretty. But I'm like, he used to be like, this film about the WWE, like it just made him seem doubly obnoxious in his review. So he was like, it's not.
I've
it's
seen
not all
some
bad.
people legitimately who know that it's WWE call it WWF to make it seem like that they're so out of touch. Oh, I'm so out of touch. Like Breck, for instance, our friend Breck. I've seen him do it. I'm like, you know what it is.
He's
I'm
putting
like,
that on.
Yeah, you're putting it on.
I mean, it's funny because sometimes I would want to call it WWF because I feel like the time that I enjoyed it the most was when I was in like grade 5, grade 6, when it was still called the WWF, when I still had some inklings that it wasn't completely fake. And so that's why I'm like, oh, those are like in my head, the glory days of that, because I was a kid and didn't know any better.
Yeah, when really that's probably the worst. Like what you were supporting there was probably steroid injecting partiers that are all dead now.
Oh, whereas now none of them touch any muscle enhancing substance whatsoever.
Now they're all pure.
Have you ever seen John Cena? The guy looks like
John Cena is just a very good athlete. Lifts his weights.
He eats his Wheaties every morning and he pumps a lot of iron. That guy's on the juice, Crofton. He's on the juice.
End the show, Bo.
Shout out Cardi B.
It's already long.
It's
already over. We're just hanging out in the chat room, which let me go in here and say what's up. Looks like Michael's actually in the chat room today watching. He sent us the email, Dockery in the chat room. So thanks for sending that in, my friend.
Thanks,
awesome
Mike. We appreciated it. Email is still like... People can say, we love you in Twitch, but it doesn't love like an email loves.
And also, Mike, as you may have heard from the show, I've recently been voted off GBB, so there's an opening for a new Michael on the show. You can send your resume to Bo and Croft.
That's a good point. Wicked Kitten, who's often in our chat rooms, she's almost here almost every show. She's on a reality podcast right now called America's Next Top Podcaster that Scott's podcasting buddy, Brian Ibbett's running. Brian Ibbett loves reality TV shows. He's a huge fan.
I'm not a fan of his. Who is he?
He's Scott's co-host on the morning stream, Brian Ibbett.
Okay.
Yeah, I've met him. He's a good guy. He likes it. So people like things that you don't like. It's okay.
So
yeah, it's true. I don't like it. That's fair enough.
Wait. What's I want to know what this thing is, and why am I not on it?
I don't have a lot of details about it, but why you?
You're already an
you would have been a
established
good
D-level
contestant.
celebrity.
You would have been great. You would have been a great contestant. But it's America's.
You're above that.
It's America's Next Top Podcaster, and you're a Canadian.
Oh, that's right.
But you have a Canadian friend with ties to the podcasting elite. Maybe we could I could host a Canadian version of the show.
Spoiler: it's not Mike.
What?
And I'll be sitting in judgment of you. You would not like.
Oh yeah, that would be funny. Bo's like Canada's next top podcaster, hosted by Bo Schwartz, and I'm on the show. I'm like, so what do you think, Bo? And you're like, well, you could really stand to do better.
Basically, you'd always be on the chopping block, but you'd never get chopped because I'd keep you around for the drama. You'd be my New York, basically.
Oh God! It annoys. I'm getting frustrated just thinking about it.
And,
well, good luck
Icarus
to Monica.
said,
she's a good person,
he says,
but I don't think she needs to be on a reality show to be in the podcasting world.
What's the prize? What's the prize?
I don't know. I haven't tuned in. I was actually curious.
You have to eat horse testicles. That's the prize. Whichever podcaster eats the most horse testicles in the show will be moving on to the next round. Let's all laugh at them.
I'm sure it's not.
I'm sure that's not the kind of show it is. I bet it's supportive. So I know it's.
It's
I know
probably
they're
a
not
supportive,
like
positive show.
Yeah, I believe that, and that's more power to them. But still,
there's a lot of weird reality shows because that made me think. This one makes me think of like those ones like America's Got Talent, Last Comic Standing.
But those are like
American Idol.
That's different.
It's
the talent shirt, Star Search.
I mean, the best parts of American Idol are the diva breakdowns and the auditions. It's not like they're finding the talent, but like on that journey, they're seeing some pretty bad. some people whose perception of reality is not in line with their actual singing ability.
Because they've been,
and when the rubber meets the road in this high pressure, they're meeting celebrities. They're starstruck. They're singing. They're going, "I will come to you without your touch," and they're just like, "Boo!" And they have a breakdown like, "What? I'm the best singer. How could you not see?" You know, like just like it's reality TV because of that.
That bit is because it's also it's embarrassing and you're laughing at people and it's sad. Yeah.
See that I think they're see like I had a thought like Fear Factor isn't. I don't think that's really a reality TV show. It's a game show where they actually eat horse testicles.
No, they also have done it on.
No, that was a Dave Chappelle skit. That was a Dave Chappelle skit.
Well,
the crack guy. He's like, you know, he wanted cocaine and he was on Fear Factor for the money to get cocaine. And he just reached in and ate the horse testicles.
I was just thinking about that Samuel Adams beer.
Glad they burned.
Motherfucker! You gonna get you drunk? So good.
Sam Jackson. It's such a basic. It's such a basic skit, but so funny.
But it works on so many levels.
Yeah.
But he doesn't just say it'll get you drunk. He says it'll get you drunk N-word to a table of 3 white guys. Just the emphasis on it is so funny.
I also just love at the end, out of context, he's like, "Yes, I killed them, and I hope they burn in hell." Like it's just awesome.
I know you guys will likely not watch this. Bo might, but I sent you this Songify this song on it's a 15-minute song on this. It's the entire Star Wars trilogy, and they've taken it's sung by Luke Skywalker, and they've taken the bit where he says that he's going to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters as the hook, and so like it keeps.
Where did you send that to?
It keeps to our here, but it's like honestly, it gets funnier and funnier, and I just skipped ahead at one point, but I've at this point watched.
So you watched 15 minutes of this, but not. Wait, never mind. You didn't watch Ballad of Buster. Did you finish watching Ballad of Buster Scruggs?
Yeah, I've watched it. I watched it right away.
The whole thing?
Well, just the Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Oh, well, no, it's a whole movie.
But I honestly recommend watching a little bit and then just jumping ahead. But the way they edit it is very, very funny.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go offline and watch that. And
yeah, I do have to head out too. So.
Okay,
but I will watch that.
Chat room,
thank you for hanging out for a good show, and see you there, Lord Shaper 2. Just want to say hi to you. You're often here, and he wants to know if we can do one on the Commonwealth. Can you do a Commonwealth one?
I think he's saying you do a Commonwealth podcasting like show, not just Canada. So and then
yeah, like the Commonwealth Games, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I thought it meant we were going to rate the Commonwealth.
No, he's asking.
It's in the context of America's Next Top Podcast, where we do the Commonwealth's Next Top Podcast.
It'd be way more like
we'd have a British guy on the show.
UK the UK cooking show that you like, much more like civil and
everyone. Oh, I thought your discourse was quite pleasant. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. I don't know, whatever. All right.
Yes, indeed. Shall we break for tea? Yes, very good.
Yeah, so tea means sex in Britain. All right. All right. Yeah. Good show,
Later,
chat room. Thank you for. Let me just turn off the recording before you guys leave. Thank you for being here. Adios. We're gonna go. Time for sleepies. Bye.